skull, threw up his hands, wept for the worm in the silver sand, turned to the light and cursed him through. May God forgive, but I will never do.
As a small child, or as someone with a small child, you're probably very familiar with the question, why? And the question why never really stops until you get to I don't know or just because. Neither of which is particularly satisfying. And in a lot of ways, religion and similar points of view about the world have risen up to provide a more satisfying, but not necessarily a correct, answer to why. Now, the trouble with why as a question is that really it only applies to intentional agents. An intentional agent is something that acts with intent. So I am an intentional agent. In making this video, I'm seeking to have the intent to put my views out there, to get other people to think, to maybe reassure a few others, to challenge the preconceptions of the religious. So I have intent, which leads to my action, which leads to results. But most things don't have intent. When a tree falls on your car, it's not being malicious, it's just that the roots and so on gave way. It has no intent to harm you or your car or anything else. So when we ask why about that kind of event, it doesn't apply. The only question that really applies is how. And to an extent we use these as synonyms, and that just shows how difficult language can be, because it's baked right into a lot of our assumptions, at least in English, that what we're talking about is a person doing something. Because most of our interactions are with people, we are evolved within a social context. So most of the things that happen, it would be reasonable to assume, within the human context, have a why, because there's an intentional agent behind them, even if the results of their actions are unintentional or accidents. But for most of the universe, it's how. It's blind mechanism. It's chance in a lot of cases, but not everything. People like to strawman chance. So that leaves us with a problem. Why am I here? Doesn't apply. What should I do with my life? Is not a question that can be answered outside. You weren't made with any particular intention other than your parents wanted children. Otherwise it's all down to you. There is no cosmological, theological background reason why you exist. An atheist would argue that that means life is meaningless, and then they would try to sell you their religion. But their religion is just an off-the-peg solution to what do I do with my life. It's got no more backing than any other decision that anyone might happen to make. So this isn't depressing, this isn't bad. This is a freedom. This life is ours to make of it what we want. We have our own choices. If you want to live a religious life, I suppose that's up to you, but it has no backing. And so long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, that doesn't really matter. But it's no better or worse than anyone else's choice of how to live, except in the manner that it may harm or help others. That's the only criteria we can really judge upon. But this is a wonderful, great, freeing thing. What do you want to do with your life? And the answer is whatever you want. Because no one else put you on this earth with any idea, any say over what you should do, not even your parents. You are your own individual person. Even the people that made you have no control past the fact that they made and raised you. That's it. So, as we move into this new year, who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And how are you going to do it? Zang.